Yeah, so we want to think about, what is it that makes advertising work in the first place? How do we get this connection between showing up on TV screens and billboards and creating messaging to somebody purchasing a product on the shelves or online? So we need to understand how people operate. And the first important thing to keep in mind is that we rarely actively think about brands. We wake up in the morning, we have all our personal things that we need to think about and our personal tasks that we need to take care about. This is not how we wake up in the morning. We don't think about Geico the first thing, even though that is a kind of cute little looking lizard. It looks a little bit more like this. This is a bit how I wake up in the morning, is mostly blank, empty thoughts until I've had a cup of coffee about half hour later.
That's right. And it's important to remember that people only think about your company or product or service tiny little bit of time.
Yeah, you're going to need to be efficient and maintain top of mind for people. And basically, the notion that they go about their lives thinking about how themselves and how they can operate in the world, it contributes to this distribution of how the way people buy products. So if you plot the number of purchases by the number of people, you end up with a curve that looks like this across categories and market shares, and it's very consistent because it's based on human behavior. So what we see in the very large bar on the left is a large number of people, and then on the bottom, a very small number of purchases. And this is how it always pans out, is that you have a large number of people purchasing a small amount of your product. When we look at the people buying a huge amount of your product, it's much less. Now think about when you first start to find growth as a company. What does that start to look like? Does it come from one place or another? It turns out it will come from the people who are buying a small amount of your product, that large number of people. That's where growth initially begins.
We fall into the era of thinking that the bulk of our focus is going to be from our best customers. And that's simply not true. And this has to do with something called the egocentricity bias.
Yeah, the egocentricity bias in psychology, we think that others care about us much more than they actually do. And we notice ourselves much more personally because that's who we are. Other people don't notice us as much. And so that's true for your brand. If you're working for a company like eBay and you wake up in the morning, first thing you think about is eBay because you work for them. But that's not the case for the customers.
I hope most CEOs are thinking that their employees are thinking about their brand first thing in the morning.
For sure, for sure.
The
Before
reality
they
is,
go to bed at night. This video is from our webinar series, and you can check out intermarkgroup.com/webinar to watch the full series. We're a full-service advertising agency that embeds a layer of behavioral science in our creative. And you can check out the information below to learn more about us and to contact us to help you solve your marketing challenges.